Prince Harry's autobiography Spare provided a remarkable glimpse into the discontent that he experienced as a member of the royal family. 2 years after Buckingham Palace's announcement in February of 2021 that he and his wife Meghan Markle would no longer be working members of the royal family, Spare, the book, it offered a candid account of Harry's frustration and resentment.
The Duke of Sussex opens up about royal life in the latest episode of Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert podcast and says it's a lot like Jim Carrey's 1998 film about a man who discovers that his whole life is a reality show.
Let's get off this mess, Jeff. I can't see his face. Go to the cabin. Cabin.
And it also became very apparent that these feelings had been brewing for years, predating his relationship with Meghan Markle, which began in July 2016, around that time. Shortly after their lavish royal wedding, the couple made the surprising decision to relocate to California and pursue new ventures, including lucrative deals with major companies like Netflix and Spotify. It came as a big shock to many people, and interestingly though, it appears that Harry had already wanted to live a normal life and not be bound by royal duty, and it goes back years ago. Back in 2017, actually, the Mail published an interview in which Harry expressed his desire to leave the royal family and seek a more ordinary life.
Harry says he and Meghan felt they had no other option but to leave the royal family.
I'm genuinely concerned for the safety of my family.
The safety of his family is of utmost concern to Prince Harry. So after he and Meghan Markle stepped down as working royals in 2020, he was naturally upset when he learned that their security would no longer be paid for.
He spoke openly about the challenges of finding a meaningful role within the confines of royal life and admitted to experiencing near breakdowns on multiple occasions. While expressing his loyalty to Queen Elizabeth II, he acknowledged his struggles to find purpose and initially considered leaving, but ultimately chose to stay and carve out a role for himself. Notably, Harry predicted that the monarchy would undergo changes after the passing of his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, which occurred in September 2022. And he made the astonishing claim that nobody within the royal family desires to be king or queen. And in Harry's own words, he said this: "I'm determined to have a relatively normal life, and if I'm lucky enough to have children, they can have one too. We don't want to be just a bunch of celebrities, but instead use our role for good." And then he insisted that any change would actually be for the greater good of the monarchy. And then he went on to say that we're not doing this for ourselves, but for the greater good of the people and the monarchy we represent. There is so much negativity in the world. We as a family try to bring something positive. And also in his memoir Spare, Prince Harry, he delves into the profound grief that he experienced after the passing of his mother, Princess Diana, as well as he talked about the long-term effects of it.
How is it that so many people that never met this woman can be crying and showing more emotion than I actually am feeling?
It ain't gonna change.
He had previously spoken about it in a heartfelt manner in 2017 also, and that's where he addressed that he saw a lot of solace in going out and partying. So yeah, he talks about this way before he even wrote his autobiography Spare. Harry reflected on the difficult experience of walking behind his mother's coffin at a young age.
The death of their mother in 1997 was devastating for both boys, but was one affected more than the other?
Surrounded by a multitude of onlookers, both in person and through TV, and he believed that no child should be subjected to such a situation. He admitted to burying his emotions and allowing the turmoil around him to affect him deeply during this time at Eton.
It was that love that even if she was on the other side of him running, that you, as a son, you could feel it. To myself and William, she was just the best mother ever. She would just engulf you and squeeze you as tight as possible, and there was no escape, you were there.
It wasn't until he joined the army in 2006 that he felt a sense of fulfillment and purpose. Unfortunately, his military service was cut short in 2007, and Harry expressed resentment over this, as being in the army provided him with a sense of achievement and belonging. And he definitely cherished the feelings of being a part of a team and being seen as Harry rather than Prince Harry. Following this setback, Harry indulged in years of wild partying, which led to public criticism of his perceived lack of positive contribution to his privileged royal life. However, in his mid-20s, he recognized the need to confront his grief and make changes. With the support of professional help recommended by his brother William, Harry embarked on a journey of self-discovery and redefined his role in a way that earned him public respect and affection. This included advocating for injured servicemen and women and addressing mental health issues. So there's definitely been a big turnaround in Harry's life, and he's definitely hinted that he wanted to not be part of the royal family, and he said this years ago, so it's definitely not a new phenomenon. He's also saying that people should stop blaming this whole decision on Meghan. But I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. It didn't go, I'm sure, as smoothly as Harry envisioned in his mind when he decided to break away from the royal family. But either way, we know that it's nothing new that just came up out of nowhere. I think people are just a little bit surprised that it actually happened when it happened. It seemed to coincide with his new relationship. I'm sure it was a contributing factor to the decision, but it definitely wasn't the only factor to the decision. That's my 2 cents on this. Sound off down below, and don't forget to follow me here on FTD News for more videos like this one. Boom.